respected listeners. Today, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to save you, because what I'm about to say may sound uncomfortable, even shocking, but it could be the difference between living with quiet suffering and truly living with strength. There are medicines silently resting in your cabinet that may be quietly working against your heart rather than protecting it. Medicines that for years have been trusted, advertised, prescribed, yet after the age of 50 they can slowly start to betray the very body they once helped. Imagine this. You wake up, take your pills, sip some water, and move on with your day. You believe you're doing everything right. You trust your doctor. You trust the system. But what if the same little tablet you swallow in faith has been weakening your heart muscle, disturbing your rhythm, or interfering with your body's natural balance? You wouldn't feel it at first. It wouldn't hurt. It would be slow, silent, like a thief that only shows itself when it's too late. I've seen it in my patients. Men and women who came in, pale and breathless, clutching their chest, believing their heart had suddenly failed them. But when I looked closer, it wasn't sudden at all. It was years of quiet damage from combinations of pills that were never meant to be taken forever. Medicines for pain, for blood pressure, for cholesterol, for sleep, all working together in ways most people never realize. And I remember their faces, the fear, the confusion, asking me, "Doctor, why didn't anyone tell me this before?" So today, I'm breaking that silence. I'm not saying medicine is your enemy, but after 50 your body changes, your metabolism slows, your kidneys filter differently, your heart grows more sensitive to imbalances in minerals, hormones, and blood flow. What once protected you can start poisoning you, gently, invisibly, until one morning you just don't wake up the same. If you've ever felt that something is wrong deep inside, fatigue that doesn't go away, dizziness when you stand, strange swelling in your feet, or that faint fluttering in your chest that you keep ignoring, don't brush it off as age. Sometimes it's your body whispering, "Please stop feeding me what I no longer need." And that whisper becomes a scream when it's too late. You see, the heart is not just a pump. It's a rhythm, a harmony of life that responds to every chemical you put inside. Some medicines, when taken past a certain age, disrupt that harmony, draining your body's natural reserves, slowing electrical signals, thickening the blood, or forcing your heart to work harder than it should. And the scariest part? Most people never know until the day it fails. That's why I want you to listen closely, not with fear but with awareness, because awareness is the first step to survival. There are 7 common medicines millions of people over 50 take every single day, believing they were protecting themselves, but in truth, they might be placing invisible weight on their heart. And before I reveal what they are, I want you to understand why your body reacts differently after this age, and how you can begin to protect it again, naturally, wisely, and safely. The next few minutes may change the way you see your daily routine. It may make you question what's inside those bottles you've trusted for years, but that's good, because truth, no matter how uncomfortable, always leads to freedom, and your freedom begins with understanding how your body is quietly calling for change. When I first began my medical career, I believed what I was taught, that every pill had a purpose, that each prescription was a blessing of modern science. But years inside the operating room changed that belief forever. I watched hearts stop in my hands, not from sudden disease, but from years of small, invisible damage, the kind that begins quietly, buried inside the side effects of everyday medicines. People often ask me, "Doctor, how can something my physician prescribed actually harm me?" The truth is, medicine is not evil, it's powerful, and power, when not balanced, can easily turn against you. Your body at 50 is not the same as it was at 30. Your liver, your kidneys, your blood vessels, they process drugs differently now. What once healed you might now overwhelm your system, staying longer in your blood, affecting your heartbeat, your energy, your clarity. There are certain painkillers that were once considered safe, but taken over the years, they can silently raise blood pressure, thicken your blood, and increase strain on your heart. I've seen patients who only wanted relief from their aching knees, but instead ended up with a weakened heart muscle. Then there are sleep aids and anti-anxiety pills that promise peace. Yet they slow your breathing, dull your heart's natural rhythm, and can cause dangerous drops in oxygen levels during the night. You wake up feeling more tired, unaware that your heart spent the night struggling just to keep you alive. Even some over-the-counter drugs, the ones you can buy without a prescription, may not be harmless after 50. Decongestants, for example, used for a simple cold, can cause a sharp rise in blood pressure. Antacids and acid-reducing pills, when used too often, can strip your body of vital minerals like magnesium and potassium, the very elements your heart needs to beat properly. You might think you're treating your digestion, but slowly, you're robbing your heart of its fuel. And then there are the cholesterol and blood pressure medicines. These are vital for many people. But the danger begins when they're taken blindly, without routine checkups or awareness of side effects. The heart is a balance of pressure and rhythm. When we force one side of the equation down too far, we can disturb the entire system. I've met people who were proud to have perfectly low blood pressure, yet fainted often because their hearts had lost the strength to pump against such low pressure. Too much of a good thing becomes a quiet disaster. But here's the most dangerous habit: the belief that once you start a medicine, you must take it for life. This is not always true. Your body evolves. Conditions change. A medicine that was once essential may no longer be needed in the same dose or form. Yet, out of routine or fear, many keep taking them, every day, every night, without questioning if their body is still asking for it. That's when harm begins. I'm not telling you to stop your medicines tonight. Never do that suddenly. What I'm asking is something deeper: to understand your medicines, to sit with your doctor, to ask questions that matter. Do I still need this? Is there a safer alternative? Is my heart handling it well? Because your body whispers the answers before the tests do. Through your energy, your sleep, your breath, your heartbeat. If you felt weaker lately, or noticed swelling, palpitations, or dizziness, don't dismiss it as age. Sometimes your heart is simply saying, "You've given me too much." I've watched people regain life again, not through new pills, but by removing the ones that no longer serve them. And the truth is, there are better ways, natural ways, to support your heart after 50. But to understand them, we must first uncover what truly happens inside your body when these medicines build up over time. Every heart has a story, and if you listen closely enough, it speaks. The rhythm of your heartbeat is not just a mechanical sound, it's a voice, one that reflects every choice you make, every emotion you carry, every pill you take. Over the years, as medicines accumulate inside you, they don't just treat your symptoms, they begin to alter the very way your heart communicates with the rest of your body. You see, the human heart is deeply sensitive to chemistry. Every medicine you swallow changes that chemistry in some way, sometimes slightly, sometimes drastically. Painkillers, sleep tablets, antidepressants, blood pressure drugs, each one leaves a trace. Some slow your heart's electrical impulses, others block signals that control your heartbeat's timing. Over time, those little interferences build up, like static on a radio, until your heart's natural music becomes distorted. When that harmony fades, you start to feel it: the tired mornings, the faint shortness of breath, the pounding at night when you lie still, wondering why you can't rest even when you're exhausted. It's your heart asking for clarity, for balance, for relief from the constant chemical noise. But most people ignore those whispers, thinking they're just signs of getting older. I remember a patient, a kind man in his late 60s, full of life, never smoked, always active. Yet he came to me complaining of sudden fatigue, dizziness, and occasional chest tightness. His tests were confusing, nothing severe, nothing dramatic. But when I looked closer, I saw what most overlook. He was taking a combination of 7 medicines, all prescribed, all approved, yet each one subtly fighting the other. His blood thinner increased his risk of bleeding. His painkiller raised his pressure. His sleep pill slowed his breathing. His acid reducer drained his magnesium. One by one, they weakened the foundation his heart depended on. We slowly adjusted his treatments, replaced some with safer options, introduced natural supplements where possible, and supported him with gentle changes. walking, hydration, balanced nutrition. Within months, he looked different, not just healthier, but lighter, as if his body had been freed from years of quiet burden. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like my heart is finally breathing again." And that sentence stayed with me. That's the miracle most people never realize. Your heart can heal, but only if you give it space to recover. Once you stop overloading it with unnecessary chemicals, once you start nourishing it instead of numbing it, it begins to repair itself. Your pulse becomes steadier, your mind clearer, your energy slowly returns. Now, you might wonder, if medicines can harm, what should we do instead? The answer isn't rejection, it's respect. Respect for your body's signals, for the natural rhythms that once kept you alive without pills. After 50, you must become the guardian of your own chemistry. That means eating cleaner, sleeping deeper, managing stress before it becomes disease, and questioning every pill before it enters your system. Because every decision you make either strengthens your heart's song or silences it. In my years as a surgeon, I've learned that survival isn't just about avoiding death. It's about protecting your vitality, the sparkle in your eyes, the steady beat in your chest, the peace that comes when you trust your body again. And that peace begins when you take back control, not from fear, but from awareness. Soon, I'll tell you how to recognize the signs, the small signals your body gives when certain medicines are slowly taking a toll on your heart. And once you learn to see them, you'll never ignore them again. There comes a time in life when your body stops whispering and starts pleading. And for many people over 50, that plea is written in the heartbeat. It's in the fatigue that doesn't go away, in the swelling of the ankles after a quiet evening, in the sudden rush of dizziness when you rise too quickly. It's in the restless nights when your chest feels heavy though you've done nothing wrong. These are not random signs of aging, they're warnings, quiet, merciful warnings from your heart asking for gentleness, asking for release from the load of unnecessary medication. Your body is far wiser than any pill. It knows when something no longer belongs inside it. But the world around us teaches silence. Take what you're given, follow instructions, don't ask questions. Yet the truth is, healing begins the moment you start asking. When you look at those 7 bottles lined up on your shelf and ask, "Do I still need each of you?" That question is power. Because sometimes the bravest act of healing is not taking something new, but letting go of what no longer serves you. If your heartbeat has become irregular, if you notice your hands trembling, if your energy fades halfway through the day, or if your sleep feels shallow, these are not coincidences. Some medicines, especially those that affect pressure, pain, or hormones, can change how your heart manages electricity, fluids, and oxygen. And when those balances shift, the body starts sending distress signals in the only language it knows: exhaustion, shortness of breath, or sudden mood swings. Listen to those signs. They are your heart's way of saying, "You're giving me too much to fight." I've sat beside patients who broke down crying, not from fear of illness, but from the realization that they'd trusted pills more than their own instincts. They said, "Doctor, I felt it all along. I just didn't know what it meant." That moment, when awareness dawns, is sacred. It's when you stop being a patient and become a participant in your own healing. That is the turning point. And the beautiful truth is, the body forgives. The heart forgives. Even after years of stress and medication, it wants to live. It wants to beat freely again. When you begin to simplify your life, eating more naturally, walking daily, sleeping without pills, staying hydrated, meditating, breathing deeply, your heart responds almost instantly. Its rhythm softens, its strength returns. You start feeling light again, as if the fog has lifted from your chest. This isn't about rejecting science or blaming medicine. It's about balance, the kind we've forgotten in the rush of prescriptions and promises. As a heart surgeon, I've witnessed miracles not from machines, but from the simple act of letting the body reclaim its rhythm. When people stop drowning their hearts in unnecessary drugs and start listening, truly listening, to what their bodies are saying, healing becomes inevitable. So tonight, when you look at those pills before bed, pause for a moment. Ask yourself not just what you're taking, but why. Ask whether each of them still serves the purpose it once did. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. It means you've begun to care again. Speak to your doctor, find someone who listens, someone who understands that health isn't about silence. It's about harmony. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live awake. To live with a heart that beats not out of survival, but out of peace. My friend, take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. That, right there, is your miracle. The sound of life, the proof that your heart still fights for you, still believes in you, no matter what you've put it through. I've stood in operating rooms watching hearts falter, slow, and then, against all odds, begin to beat again. And every time I'm reminded of one truth: your heart doesn't give up easily. It just needs you to fight with it, not against it. For too long, we've been taught that healing comes from the outside, from bottles, from pharmacies, from endless prescriptions. But real healing begins within. It starts the moment you decide to understand your body again, to trust its signals, to stop silencing them with pills that were never meant to be taken forever. When I say stop taking these 7 medicines after 50, I don't mean to rebel against your doctor. I mean to awaken your awareness, to remind you that your body is not a machine that needs constant fixing. It's a living, breathing miracle that knows how to restore itself when given care, time, and respect. Go back to the basics. Drink water before you reach for medicine. Sleep before you seek sedation. Walk before you choose another pill for pain. Let sunlight, food, laughter, and gratitude be part of your prescription. Because the best medicine you will ever give your heart is peace. Peace from chemical confusion. Peace from fear. Peace from the idea that health is something you buy. Every heartbeat you feel tonight is an invitation to start over, to simplify, to heal. You don't need to fear aging, you need to understand it. Your 50s, 60s, 70s, they are not a decline, they are a return. A return to wisdom, to clarity, to the truth that the body and spirit are partners in survival. So promise yourself this: you will not live in ignorance again. You will not swallow in silence. You will question, learn, and listen. You will work with your doctor, not just follow. You will love your heart enough to protect it. Not with more medicine, but with mindful living. And when you do, when your mornings come lighter, when your breath deepens, when your chest feels free again, remember this moment. Remember that healing didn't come from something you added, but from something you released. Your heart has waited years for this peace. Give it that gift today.